Hey everybody, welcome to this completely unnecessary podcast for Tuesday, April 14th, 2020, post-Easter edition, alongside Ian Ferguson in
Hi.
pain.
Howdy. So much pain.
I am Pat Contry. Today on the show, we'll be talking about Nintendo doing a Switch update, talking about a little bit about the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Google Stadia now free, the ESRB or the SRBs having new label for loot boxes, eBay shenanigans, a Patreon poll topic. Ian, you're in pain.
Yes. I don't know what the fuck I did, but I've been down this road before many times. I feel like this is the same injury I had like 4 years ago. But yeah, like my shoulder, I pinched something and it's just constantly screaming at me, and it has been for 5 days. Sleep has been very minimal.
So you hurt the same shoulder 5 years ago?
Yeah, this shoulder's been problematic
Your
before.
left shoulder?
I got a cortisone shot in there once.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fucking bad shoulder.
Old Kumite injury?
Yeah, old Kumite injury. Yep. So it sucks. It's like the only thing I can focus on. But I am here, and I am going to try to get through this podcast.
Did you have a nice Easter?
Sunday was Bunny Day in Animal Crossing.
Okay.
It's also Zombie Jesus Day, which used to be a holiday that Treg and I and all of our friends would celebrate.
Okay.
We'd get together.
A little sacrilegious to the Christians, but okay.
We'd get together and make a big batch of zombies. Zombies are a drink that is all booze.
Okay.
It's all booze. And then we'd
Jungle juice?
And then we'd watch finer, a higher class than Jungle Juice.
A higher class of jungle juice. Okay.
It's not Jungle Juice. I'm just saying it's all booze. But with kids and stuff, it's been harder to do the past few years, and especially now with the virus. So Treg actually made a big batch of zombies and delivered them to our various houses.
Okay.
He went around and dropped them off at the people's houses that used to all hang out with instructions on how to prep them. So that was cool. I had a very boozy drink for Easter, and I crafted eggs into various items in Animal Crossing.
Okay.
To appease the rabbit.
To appease the rabbit? Is there a giant rabbit that was stalking?
Zipper.
Zipper was going around stalking?
Zipper is a very creepy rabbit, yeah.
Okay.
And then I played the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
How is that, Ian?
It's good. Honestly, it's fun so far. The battle system, I didn't play the demo when it came out, but the battle system has been everything that I expected it was going to be, which is an action-based battle system that has some meters running in the background for menu commands. I understand why a lot of people might not like the battle system. This goes back more to when the demo came out, and there were people who were shocked by it. But I actually think it takes a turn-based battle system and adapts it into an action battle system pretty well. All your attacks are basically just button mashing. In a normal RPG, a turn-based one, you're not putting a lot of thought into that anyways. But as you accrue attacks, your meter builds, and you can cash that in for larger actions like spells and stuff like that. And it's nice. To me, it feels right. It feels like a natural evolution of that sort of thing. Evolution. But yeah, it's cool to go back. There's been some moments that made me a little misty, and yeah, it'll be fun to see where it goes. There's a darts minigame.
Okay.
We've mentioned darts minigames on
we have
on the podcast before.
Yeah, that's right, we have.
Yeah.
And how axe throwing's terrible.
Axe throwing's terrible. But yeah, it's fun. I thought of you when I got to the darts throwing minigame. I was like, oh, Patrick.
Okay, I don't know if that was heartwarming or creepy. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I only played the game, I remember getting over my friend's Chun's house. He had Final Fantasy VII. He was the PlayStation guy. That's where I first played Tekken 2 on PlayStation. How awesome that was to play with, unlock the kangaroo or whatever. And it was fantastic. and I'd watch him play Final Fantasy VII more so than me play it, because you can't like jump in with someone like you can't jump in and just start playing an RPG that's like whatever it is 50 hours long, what have you. You just can't start doing that.
No, and we grew up in a weird time where like Final Fantasy VII came out and popularized RPGs in the West, so suddenly more people are playing them, and we were part of an interesting generation that I think had to deal with watching people play RPGs more than anyone else
We were
ever
the
did.
X-Lennials. That's what I learned. We were like in between X and Millennials. Anyone born between like 78 and 83 is like this like hybrid generation, which makes sense. We're like the crossover generation kind of technology.
That to me just sounds like people wanting to be special. We're the end of millennials.
I mean, the beginning of the millennials.
Beginning of millennials, yeah.
Well, in terms of how we think and how we grew up, we're definitely not Generation X. We're too young for Generation X.
Yes.
We didn't grow up like watching the fucking Brady Bunch. That's Generation X. We're not, to me, not millennials, because like I grew up without the internet, and I think millennials, most of them grew up with the internet. So like we're like, again, I think we're the in between. We're like 5-6 years in between. We're like the 80s like Saturday morning cartoon generation.
With the Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys.
Yes.
Never saw that movie.
God, that movie is so fucking good.
It used to be on, man, I miss WPIX Shocktober, because they would have all the horror ones every October, and they would even cut out the violence, because the movies would come on at like 8 o'clock at night, 8 to 10. And I remember the Lost Boys being on. I remember like the first 15 minutes was like that attack scene with like, and you saw the blood when they like bit him and everything. I was like, oh, they're showing this to me.
Please write this wrong during this public health crisis, this certain health crisis, and watch The Lost Boys.
Okay, I'll watch it quicker than you watch Big Trouble in Little China.
It's fine.
I watched like 4 years to watch.
Old news.
That's old news. So I found my picture of when I last got a haircut. That's how I keep track of the dates. I just look at this like glob of hair on the floor. It was like January 31st. So it's been 10 weeks since I got a haircut at this point. We're going to see how long Pat can last with it. Because right now, if it stopped today, we'd be fine. I'd be satisfied if my hair never changed how it is. We'll see where we are in a month. It might be a fun game.
Today.
It's not stopping today. It doesn't stop. Doesn't stop. We're not going to stop pushing a limited shirt at ultimatenintendo.com. Or, of course, you can get the Not For Resale documentary there, still going strong. Or the enamel pins. We are 1/3.
1/3. It was not half.
We're 1/3 through the supply of pins. Again.
So we're here a little bit longer.
We're going to have an announcement once we go through 300. Someone gets fired, we change the show, or we end it. One of those things is going to happen. So when we go to 300. So buy those.
We'll finally figure out who the powers that be are.
The powers that be. Like
that
WCW? Yeah,
WCW.
It was awful when Vince Rizzo got there in '99. It was awful. It is awful fucking Long Island accent behind the desk, off screen there. What was I going to say? I might do a giveaway. I figured I have a bunch of slightly damaged or even not damaged returns laying around at Castle Country that I might do book giveaways during the pandemic. I might do something like once a week. Do it like on Twitter. If you respond to the thread, I'll give away and mail out one of them and sign them. So follow me at PatTheNESPunk on Twitter if you have not, and I'll probably start doing that. Sort of give you something to read, and also
don't follow him. All he does is like porn.
That's not true. I like kitty cats and bodegas. That's what I like. It's true. Where's my bodega cat shirt? I haven't worn that in a while either. I got to do that. Wow.
Quick, go change.
Yeah, I should. That's not against YouTube terms of service, against Twitch showing nipple. Anyway, so what was I going to say? Yeah, I'll start doing that. I think that'll be cool to get some copies out there, or you can just press out eggplant juice with the books, whatever you.
I've done that.
You've done that with the book, with my book.
Yeah, did I tell you that, or you?
No,
I've literally done that. Yeah,
it's effective.
It is. It's very effective. You put the eggplant down and then the sheet tray on top, and that's like that. And my complete X-Men Age of Apocalypse. I like the two books that I use to press out eggplant juice.
Oh, okay.
I also use them to press tofu.
I figure you should have probably given me some of that eggplant to try if you used the book to do that. But Ian doesn't love Pat. He doesn't bring him any food, but he thinks about me during darts. Anyway,
I do.
Ian, there was a lot of people that were talking about the reveal of the PS5 controller, the DualSense controller. Do you have any real thoughts on that? How it looks, how it compares versus the PS4? People are comparing it to the Xbox controller, the new Xbox, whether it's better or not.
I think it's ugly.
You don't like the color scheme, or you don't like the layout?
I just don't like the way it looks. But honestly, as long as it's comfortable to hold, that's my biggest concern.
Is the layout that much different than the PS4 controller?
No, it just looks.
You don't like the white and black.
It's visually kind of just a striking look.
It looks
but,
like a 360
but the
wipe.
layout, the layout is not all that different. No, including leaving the touch screen on there.
Never done before on a controller.
The touchpad. I mean, yeah. But yeah, I don't like the look. It's adding adaptive triggers, haptic
I
feedback.
thought it had adaptive triggers in the PS4.
Xbox does.
Oh, that's just pressure sensitive. It's like more analog
right,
triggers.
right, exactly.
Okay.
Mic create button, which is essentially the share button, yada yada yada. So it's going to be a fine controller. I've always, despite the fact that I tend to lean PlayStation when it comes to the two main brands, I've always really liked the Xbox controller, how it holds.
I never like having
The D-pad sucks, but
on the Xbox it sucks.
Yeah.
They're not great in either to me. But I always do not like having the two analogs on the same plane, horizontal plane. It always threw me off.
So I used to love that, and that's what I used to prefer. But yeah, as time has gone on, I definitely prefer the offset.
Because that's only
sticks.
useful when you're using both at the same time. I think for being comfortable. Most of the time, you're not using two analogs. In most games, you're using one.
I wouldn't say that. For most modern games, you're leaning on that second analog pretty heavily. If it's
While
not,
using the first one?
huh?
I'm talking, how many games are using both at the same time?
Anything modern that you're dealing with a camera.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not using the digital to move in a first-person shooter instead of that?
No.
Like a WASD? That's what I would use.
No,
It's more precise.
It's two joysticks.
That's
Anyway, but yeah, it's gonna be fine. It's not the end of the world, but I don't think the controller is attractive.
Well, here's the thing. They're going to put out different colors.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll put out different colors.
Right.
The white one, yes, you'll see everyone's finger cheese on it, like you did with the 360 controller.
That's like my big problem. Is
But-
cleaning that's going to be a motherfucker.
Oh, when they come in the trade-ins,
It's gonna be
all that
disgusting.
grime.
Yeah.
Are they indented in the little triangle? You have to like get a little Q-tip and edge out all the cheese from that. You
No,
think?
because that's printed on. But
it's printed on?
But the one that does suck is, speaking of all white controllers, Dreamcast controllers suck for cheese, and also the letters on a Dreamcast controller, the buttons, those are actually pressed in there. So yes, I do have to like scrub, fucking like, the black letter A until it's.
Are they still
clean
all they're not concave versus convex, those buttons? You can't tell them by touch what they are on the PS4 controller.
No, you can't tell.
Can we do that? Can we do that?
You can't tell on any modern. There's no. The only system that ever did that was the Super, and frankly, I didn't like it.
You didn't like that?
No.
It was great. Sometimes you don't know. Like it's I know where I'm feeling. It's X and Y or versus A and B.
But when you talk about this, I feel like you're one of those people on like one of those commercials, for like the butter butler. It's like, you have trouble spreading butter on toast, and you're making a mountain out of a molehill.
No, I'm not.
You are.
Especially when I always, and to this day, hate that I don't know where the square is versus the X on a PlayStation controller. It doesn't make any sense. There's like, at least with A, B, and X and Y, they're on different planes.
X. I mean, you just learn.
No, you don't. You don't learn. Pat doesn't learn.
You sound like Bonnie.
Well, then there's a problem with both of us. It doesn't make any sense. There's nothing. I guess the triangle points up. Now that I see it, I'd be able to remember that. I'm not gonna be able to remember the other ones. So just give me a little feely. Give me a little dot on one of them at least, so I know. Oh, this is the top, or this is the right, or this is a circle.
All right.
Give it a little circle. I saw my thumbs on it. It feels like a circle. How about that?
Okay.
Help me out. And this isn't Boomer Pat. This was like 20 years ago on a PlayStation 2 controller. I thought about that. I was like, I'm looking at it, trying to learn how to play SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, and I don't know, square, then triangle. I got to look down to see it. It's ridiculous.
I don't know.
Preschool controller?
I fucking figured it out pretty quick. No, actually,
put happy faces on them?
There was a reasoning behind the symbols.
Oh, there was. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Triangle, camera. Circle?
Because a triangle looks like a camera? A camera's a circle.
A viewpoint.
A triangle going out?
Yes, it's your view. Circle is confirm.
This is a triangle. This is more like a trapezoid.
Circle is confirm. X is cancel, and square brings up a menu.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Makes sense to me.
The fact that you got to think, it makes it. Oh, it doesn't. Vonnie agrees with me. Vonnie hanging out in the living room. She agrees with me.
Learn how to hold a controller.
I know how to hold the controller. I just don't like the buttons. Anyway, sorry. What were we saying? So otherwise, it looks fine, right? Are they adding that much? Is there is there a microphone on it?
Yes, there was on the last one too.
It's really the haptic and the feedback on the triggers?
It's the haptics and the feedback.
Is this the one that people are complaining? This one, does this have the replaceable batteries, or the Xbox one doesn't? This is.
Sony has notoriously not had replaceable batteries in their chargeable controllers.
But
I don't know if this one does or not.
But they last pretty decent time.
No, they don't. The PlayStation 4 controller is fucking miserable. It has like a battery life of
So
like
you gotta
5 hours.
go online and see how to take out the battery and replace it.
Sony's controller situation has always been shitty.
Okay. I don't know what I'd prefer.
I mean, it's not like it's a bad controller, but it's like there's always something wrong.
You can always plug in, I guess, but that's annoying.
That's what I do.
It defeats the purpose.
More often than not, it's just plug in.
Can I make these batteries smart, not to like overcharge? Maybe that's it. I've been charging my PS3 controllers for like 2 months since I got at the swap meet. Now I'm gonna miss a swap meet with the certain public health crisis going on. All right, Ian, any thoughts on this Nintendo Switch pinball peripheral we saw? I don't really have any thoughts on it.
No, it's neat. The reason I didn't really have any thoughts on it is because I saw something like it a few months ago. This just happens to be the implementation of it that I think got popular. And I don't know if it's the same guy who's now made one that's, more ready for sale or what. But basically, there was just going around a cool peripheral. Basically, it holds the Nintendo Switch screen sideways. So you can look at it lengthwise like a pinball table. It's got 2 buttons on the side. It's got nudge sensors and
2 buttons on the front.
2 buttons on the front. And it's a neat way to do it. The original one that I saw a few months ago actually has a plunger that you pull and let go.
Is that available in the market?
So I think it was. I think you could buy like 3D printed versions of it.
Okay.
But either way, it's neat to see people doing fun stuff with the Switch, and that's something that I always wanted to see with the Switch was, the weird controller peripherals and things that are coming out for it. There's a neat fishing controller that's coming out in Japan in August for some sort of like deep sea fishing game. I will probably be getting that. Yeah.
You can use it for the Switch
You put the
minigame.
Joy-Cons in there. Yeah.
You can use it for the 51 games worldwide. What the hell is that called? That we covered?
Clubhouse games.
51 games. And then I'm not sure we're going to get a full topic out of this, but there's Hallmark Nintendo Christmas ornaments announced for 2020, and I don't know how many of these came out before or not. I don't track the Hallmark paper store goods news.
Neither do I, but I think these are all hot and fresh. These are all new drops for this 2020 season. We got a Nintendo entertainment system that turns on. The power light actually turns on.
What?
Yep.
I didn't see that. I'm getting that.
And it makes sounds too.
However, they screwed up the Super Mario Brothers cart because they use white on the top, and white's for Super Mario / Duck Hunt. On the top, it should be that weird orange-red color. So that's not good. It's funny because it looks like almost like a, well, it is a mini NES Mini.
There's a Minecraft ornament. There's a Pokeball ornament. I want me that Pokeball ornament.
I like that there's a Yoshi Mario Kart one. There's a Fortnite school bus looking one. There's a Pokeball. There's good old Luigi, good old Mario, and then there's a Joust ornament with light and sound. That's interesting. I never would associate that to being the big arcade one to put out of all.
I think there's just been previous ones. I know that there's been other like arcade cabinet ornaments. I think there was even the Donkey Kong one at one point.
Okay. There's a Legend of Zelda cart, metal. It says it's metal.
Yeah, the Pokeball's metal too, apparently.
The Donkey Kong one is adorable. It's a pixelated Donkey Kong from the arcade. You got Pikachu looking angry, jumping at you like a football tackle, and then of course the NES one with sound and light. So I will be picking up a couple of these. They're keepsakes, Ian. Which just means you throw them in a box, put them in the attic until next Christmas. That's a keepsake.
They're collectibles.
Who the hell puts these ornaments on the shelf? I mean, some of them are very nice.
Collectible keepsakes.
I have the Spider-Man one. He's like swinging in front of a building. It's like 3D-ish. And I'm like, yeah, it says a keepsake. It's in a nice box. And I'm like, this isn't going out anywhere. I mean, are people lining these up? My parents had all the Christmas Story ones that came out like 15, 20 years ago. There was like a few of them. They have like the leg. They have Ralphie in the pink bunny suit.
Oh, nice.
And there's a third one, I believe. There's at least 2. You got to do the leg lamp. And they have them. So when I went back for Christmas, I saw them on the tree there. So that was interesting. Recall hours spent sitting in your beanbag chair, parked in front of your television. Video game controller in hand. Nothing mattered except defeating Bowser and ultimately completing the entire Super Mario Brothers game. Relive the carefree fun when you display this classic Nintendo Entertainment System console Christmas tree ornament that lights up and plays the familiar music and sounds of the iconic video game. Battery operated in parentheses. I love copy. I consider myself a pretty good copywriter for ad copy there. That's a damn good copy right there, Hallmark. And we are at the point now, Ian, like what we said, I think it was 5 years ago when I started seeing commercials of retro games, for Fruit Loops and on TV. Now we're officially at the age where we're showing our kids, hey, this is what I used to play when I was a kid on the Christmas tree. And your kid's like, what? I don't care. I just want to play Fortnite. I don't care.
Right.
We're at that point, Ian.
We are.
With our little ones. If you had a kid right now, what would you name your kid if you had a kid right now?
Eustace.
What? Excuse me?
Eustace.
Is that a boy or girl?
I don't know.
Okay.